Hey everyone, today Sarah and I have a very different sort of a podcast for you. There's also a video for this one on my YouTube channel, like an actual video, not just some graphics while the audio plays. Mostly. We did have a camera issue in the middle, but it's mostly a video. Anyway, we're doing a road trip review. I think I've shared a couple of these on my other podcast, Every Version Ever, but none here. Mostly because up until a couple months ago, we hadn't done one since before I started podcasting. I think the last one we'd done was in 2018. Sarah and I would occasionally review something like an old 1930s audio play or something while we were driving somewhere, something we listened to on the way to wherever we were going. But today, we're talking about the entire purpose of our road trip, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Marcel the Shell started out as a short film on YouTube in 2010, and I was instantly a fan, and so was Sarah. We would periodically rewatch the shorts, and of course, quote them on and off ever since. They are endlessly quotable. When I found out there was going to be a movie, I told Sarah we had to go, and that is a big deal because Sarah does not go to the theater. But she was willing to make an exception for Marcel. And then, of course, since this was such a big occasion, I thought it'd be a good idea to do a podcast about it and talk about both the movie and the original shorts. And then when it became obvious that we were going to have to go all the way to Nebraska to even find a theater showing it, a theater that was only showing it for one day, I might add, that idea turned into a road trip where we'd talk about the shorts on the way and then do a short, spoiler-free review of the movie immediately after we watched it. And then it got even bigger because somehow Dean Fleischer-Camp, the co-creator of Marcel the Shell, saw me talking about our trip on Twitter and how Sarah never goes to the movies but was making an exception for this one, and he offered to buy our tickets for us. I was originally going to tell Sarah immediately, like the next day, but I suddenly had the idea to wait and tell her right before we watched the movie while we were still filming our review of the shorts. So, this episode. And I'm so glad I did it, because even with the various camera issues, this ended up being probably one of my favorite videos that we've ever made.
Ready to go?
Start.
Let's do it. An actual road trip review that's farther than 20 minutes out, or half hour, whatever that was.
Yeah, like we haven't done one of these since 2018, and all of a sudden we're doing two in a couple months' time.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
You get 2 for 1. Get a little bit of adventure and get podcast material.
Yeah. And this one is not an audio thing. Like, we normally do this for an audio thing, but our road trip ties in with what we have and are going to watch, so
yes,
figured might as well review on the road.
On the way there, we're planning on talking about the Marcel the Shell shorts.
Yes, the first 3 original shorts from 2010.
Are they that old?
Yes.
So I've probably been imitating Marcel for over 10 years and didn't realize it. Especially if that's a voice I can do, especially if I have a head cold.
So when did you first watch Marcel the Shell? Did I show it to you, or did you find it independently of me?
I feel like maybe you showed it to me, but I can't, over 10 years ago, I don't even remember now.
Yeah, I don't remember when I first saw it. It was just one of those things that it was on the internet. I think it went viral at some point, and I saw it then. So it's probably either bizarre or viral if I've seen it. Yeah. But this one also it's something that I would have known that you would like, so.
Right. It's cute.
I'm trying to pinpoint exactly what it is about Marcel that I like so much.
It's random.
That, yes.
Not only is it cute, it's random and creative.
Yes, very creative.
And you already like animation, stop motion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who puts little shoes on a shell and makes a tiny documentary out of it? It's...
Yeah.
And so for years I've wandered around saying things like, you want to know what I use for skis? Toenails from a man.
Yes.
My sister loves that one.
Oh, there's so many good quotes in them, too. That's another thing that's so appealing about them. They're endlessly quotable.
Yeah, stuff gets stuck in your head. had forgotten that there were 3 of them. I was thinking that there was 2. And they're pretty easy to potato chip.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the originals didn't take them that long to make, I don't think.
I'm not sure.
I don't think they did. But then the movie, of course, was a different matter.
Yeah. And the movie, I did not even... Like, I never expected there to be a Marcel the Shell movie.
He was so excited. He had this big reveal.
Yeah, I mean, for a while, and I don't remember when it happened, but I knew that the director and the main star, Dean Fleischer-Camp and Jenny Slate, I knew that they were married when they made these. And when they got a divorce, I was like, well, that's the end of Marcel the Shell, and I was really sad. And they don't talk about it, and like, it's nobody's business. So I just assumed that they didn't talk anymore, like they just split up and went their separate ways. But then I find out later that they're still friends, and they're still working together.
Which is the way with some divorced people. Some divorced people, they're so chill about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, yeah, I remember.
I guess I just assumed that it was ugly and that we'd never see Marcel the Shell again.
Because that's so often the case.
Yeah. But then when I saw the headline about there's going to be a Marcel the Shell movie, I was like, what? And then the trailer came out, and it was amazing.
Is he the voice in the background asking the questions? Okay.
Yes. He's the writer, director, and main human star in both the shorts and the movies. He's not on camera in the shorts, but he will be in the movie, I believe.
Okay.
I love how, like you said, creative. I love all the different ideas that they have for how a little creature would get around a human world. I think it ties into why I love the story of The Borrowers. Like, there was that Studio Ghibli movie. I think you watched that one, The Secret World of Ariadne, that was based on The Borrowers. I love
years
those
ago.
books. I love that movie. I know there's at least another movie that I haven't seen yet, but I love that idea of tiny creatures using human things to navigate the world. And Marcel fits into that in a weirder way than just like a fairy or a tiny person.
Yeah.
Because he's like a little shell creature.
And I've always had a hard time thinking of him as a boy. I think my mind always knew that
You're not alone.
that this was a woman. But that's okay.
Yeah. I saw, like, there at the time they came out, there was some books, and I actually bought those books for my nephew years ago. And I went again to Amazon to see if I could get them again. The one is out of print, and you have to pay like $100 and some for it if you want it. But I was looking at the reviews, and I would say a good chunk of them kept referring to Marcel as she.
Sure.
So you're not the only one.
Well, here's the nutty thing about us going to see this movie. So I review things with him all the time, but I don't actually really like going to the theater. I have not been to the theater in a very long time. Like, you people would be shocked.
What was the last movie you saw? I know it's been ages.
Tangled.
Oh, okay. So it was sooner than I thought, because I was thinking like Monsters Incorporated.
That was the first movie that I saw in theaters. Tangled, what was that, 2010, 2011?
2010, yes.
So about the time that Marcel was birthed into the world was the last time I went. And it's like, going to the theater doesn't has not brought me a lot of joy necessarily. I think I wonder if some of it is like, I'm such a quiet, easily overstimulated person, and that's a very stimulating environment. You have whatever vibes coming off of people, you have a large, loud screen, and so I think that can be like a little much for me to take in. But it's taken me time to actually think that through. But I decided, at some point, I don't want to go to the theater anymore. But when this movie came out, Jonathan's like, I will pay for you to go. And I'm like, in my brain, it's like, just wait for it to come out. We'll sit around at the kitchen table and watch it. But he really wanted to go do this. okay, so it's a limited release. And I was thinking that it would come to Harlan. Ha ha. It's probably never going to be in Harlan unless it's one of those things that becomes like a cult classic, and for some reason, which I could see that happening.
It has been, there have been a lot more people going to it than was expected, so maybe. I still have my doubts that it'll get to Harlan, but maybe. Okay,
so he emails me saying that he has a couple of floating holidays that he needs to use, and I was thinking about, okay, this time isn't going to work for me, this time might work for me, and I had today in mind of, like, this might be a good day. He found one theater that's showing it for one day, and the day that I had in mind, the same day. So I started to feel like this is just kind of meant to be. And if it's overstimulating, then I can just go to a quiet place later on.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to be really cute.
Yeah. From all accounts, all the reviews I've seen, all the people who have seen, because they got an early release in very select theaters around, and a few people that I know have seen it, and 2 people who I know it's very hard for them to give extremely good reviews, like 4 stars, like for a really good movie, have both given it 5 stars. So
it'll be interesting to see what we think. I'm sure you'll love it. We'll see whether I'm a harsher critic or not.
But the trailer looked adorable, so I have high hopes. And I try not to have high hopes before movies because that has let me down in the past. Like, I have really high hopes and then it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. And then I have to get over that and take it for what it was.
So what do we want to say about, do we want to say anything else about the shorts? Oh, I know I do. Let's say just at least a little bit about each short. So, I don't know where I'm going to have to exit here. Maybe you could find that out for me. Okay, so first short, you're introduced to Marcel, and you get some of the highly quotable lines about hang gliding on a Dorito and using toenails for skis. But you also are told, I think that in the first one, that he has a sister that floated away on a balloon. There's some talk about friends and family in there. And one of the moments that I love that's very subtle in one of the shorts, maybe you can tell me which short it is where he's talking but he's standing on a keyboard and there's just these lines of Z's going up on the computer because there's just enough pressure.
I don't remember which one that is.
It's so cute. It's such a little detail, but it's so cute. And like that part, like, you know what I really like, but I'm not gonna beg for it. A nickname. And they're talking about your nickname is Windy. That's what I call you. That's what the community calls you. Maybe I shouldn't tell you where it comes from. And talking about the grape, which is kind of bad. Like how his friends wouldn't believe him that he could eat a whole grape. I thought it was just so cute. Like they were gonna hide it behind the pillow, and there was gonna be a big reveal. But you couldn't you? Like eat a whole. Like the way she said that was so cute. You really couldn't you?
Yeah.
Eat the whole grape.
I love the scene. I think it's in the second one when he's next to the dog and the dog starts barking and he starts screaming and runs away. And then in the background he dives into the couch.
You would like that one. But no, it's such a cute character. And one thing, okay, I need to have a random historical nerd moment. Because one of the sweet things is when Marcel sings A Perfect Day.
I love that scene so much.
And I think maybe is it raining outside and Marcel's in the window.
So, yeah.
And Marcel had learned this song at camp. I want to talk about this song because that song was, I believe I have antique sheet music for it in my collection. Sounds so fancy. My box that's underneath boxes with lots of old sheet music in it.
I think the camera turned off, but we're still recording on the audio, so if it's off, we have audio.
Super. You can insert a picture of the cover art of A Perfect Day. That song, it's just so interesting that she knew it and included it. It was written by a person named Carrie Jacobs Bond, who lived in the 1800s into the 1900s, wrote around 175 popular songs up until like 1940. That song she wrote at the lyrics for the song she wrote in 1909 at a hotel, and for years they would play that song at the end of the day at the hotel on, I believe it's called a clarion or something. It's a very particular instrument. I hope you're getting this.
I'm getting the audio, but we won't have video for a while. The camera got too hot.
Oh, bummer. It was published in 1910. So to give you a feel for the era, this song was extremely popular. It was in the songbook on the Titanic. And it's just, to me, yeah, it was a very, very popular song. And to me, it's interesting that it survived enough for her to know it and sing it basically 100 years later.
I have video on my phone.
For one of these shorts.
It'll be shaky, but it'll work.
So, yes, very sweet song, very old song, and to me it was interesting that it was on it.
Yeah, I really like that song. I wasn't sure if it was from, like, if they wrote it or if it was old, but I kind of figured it was probably an already existing song.
Yeah, published in 1910. And if I were to look into Carrie Jacobs Bond, I would probably find other songs that I recognize, because pretty prolific.
I'll worry about video when we've parked. If you want to keep talking, you still can. I'll just have audio.
I mean, I could say more, but that's probably about it.
I'll just worry about navigating. Normally we do these things on, like, down the highway. We're into Omaha at this point.
Basically, Marcel is charming, cute. I know that family is going to tie deeply into the movie, and there's a little bit of hint at that. Mm-hmm. Am I going to need to go right or left?
Right.
Okay. And while we're at it, we're going to try 2 or 3 places that Jonathan's never been to. I've been to at least one of them, and we can talk about those too. Which lane do I need to be in?
You will turn right at center, which is the next one, I believe. Or no, 2 more streets.
I'm just gonna get in this lane.
No, it's in a mile.
Either way, if it's a right, I will keep that in mind. So there is this place in Omaha, Nebraska called Coneflower Creamery that I'd wanted to go to for some time, and finally hit family members up for my birthday. My dad and I went, and they make, it's basically homemade specialty flavors, rotates with the season at least, and the guy who owns it has a novelty mustache. It's this little hole in the wall place. It is so charming, and you know, you can go to Dairy Queen and spend a lot of money on a frozen dairy treat, but if you can go to a place like Coneflower Creamery, ice cream is one of my top favorite foods, along with like tea, buttered toast. It's so great. You know, when I go on the occasion that I am on vacation, a lot of times I will look for ice cream and like local honey. That's fun. So I am in love with this ice cream place. You can get just a little bitty scoop, or you can get a good size helping. Frankly, if you can try 4 flavors and you're feeling adventurous enough to do that, do it. It's amazing. It's still not going to be an overwhelming amount of ice cream, but if you're in Omaha and you love ice cream the way that I do, try it. I've had some kind of lemon one. I've had Thai tea that was spot on, like Thai tea ice cream, spot on. I feel like I've had one that was a blueberry, I think maybe it was called the Louisiana Blues or something like that, and it was, yeah, no, they do such a good job. Okay, so we have landed. Hopefully I have not ruined anybody's day with my driving. But we're parked, and this is not the easiest place to park. Hello, sportsy vehicle. Whew. Anyway, we'll go see whether the meter takes cards and go get some ice cream, and you'll hear about it. That's not that exciting. Anyway. But the ice cream will be.
I had something else I was going to tell you too.
What?
I'm not buying our tickets. Someone bought them for us.
Really?
Yeah. You'll never guess who.
I don't know.
Okay, so the other night, like 3 a.m., I was on Twitter talking to Eli.
Yeah.
Because he gave it a 5-star review.
Yeah.
And I was replying, and I was like, well, first I was telling him about it's probably not going to come to us, so we're going to be driving all the way to Nebraska to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also a big deal because you never go to the movie theater. And Dean Fleischer-Camp replied to our conversation, the director, writer, and star of the movie, and said, "You guys are dedicated. Can I buy your tickets for you?"
Like you and I?
Yes.
Really?
So I found the one theater that was playing it and sent him the info, and he sent me back a receipt that I could show to the people at the desk that he bought our tickets.
For realsies?
Yes, for real. I couldn't believe it.
Thank you, Dean Fleischer-Camp. What a sweet thing to do.
I couldn't believe it. I think I was busy editing, and I had replied to Eli like a couple hours before, probably around midnight, and I picked up my phone and was like, Dean Fleischer-Camp? Is this like a fake account pretending to be him?
Yeah.
No, it was him.
Yeah, generally fake accounts don't actually give you things. They just want to take away your life.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That you are a real person. That is so sweet. Wow.
And I had already been thinking about, it would be a good idea to like do a little video, do a little review. And I was thinking like somewhere down the line doing like a podcast. But then after that I was like, we should make this a video. This should be a road trip review. And then I was going to tell you the next day, and then I was like, wait a minute, I should tell her on camera while we're making the video.
So, like, were you having like a Twitter conversation with Eli?
With Eli, yeah.
And so he saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, I think he was just probably searching for reactions to the movie, just to see what people were saying.
And he saw that I never go, and that we're going to the next state over.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That is so sweet. Wow. A random stranger who made their movie bought me a ticket to go see it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be friends with this person. Oh wow. Okay. How about that? I'm gonna have to process that for a little while, because you know what? I think I kind of needed that. That's for somebody to be sweet to me like that. That's really, really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to go get some ice cream while I process this emotionally?
Sure.
Okay. Talk to you after a while.
Okay.
When you come to the end of a perfect day and you sit alone with your thoughts, when the chimes ring out with the carol gay for the joy that the day has brought, do you think what the end of a perfect day could mean to a tired heart? When the sun goes down with the flaming ray and the dear friends have to part.
That's beautiful.
Thanks.
Where did you learn that?
I learned it at camp, and I sing it because my best friend lives far away.
So, initial reaction?
So that was amazing.
Yes.
I probably started crying about 10 minutes in, and then after that it was just a matter of lengths of time in between crying. I was not expecting, like, I knew people cried over the movie, but I wasn't expecting to cry that much. And then there was a lady like 1 or 2 seats away from me. I don't know if she was using napkins. We were at a dinner theater, but I was not alone in that. And you're not a crier.
No.
Like, I get touched way more easily by stuff, but at one point I was like, do you want a tissue? Yeah. It's interesting. I feel like, well, I know that if you pay attention, or you're like me, you start noticing if messages start to repeat, like God's trying to tell you stuff. And I've noticed, not just with this, it was also funny after the movie. You get done having all of these inspiring messages. I go in to use the restroom after the film, and they're playing that song about I spread my wings and I learned how to fly. And
I think it's Kelly Clarkson,
yes,
Breakaway, if I remember right.
And it fits so perfectly with the film, and I don't know how much to give away about this film.
I feel like we should avoid spoilers because it just came out.
Yes, and that is fine.
So I won't talk about why I teared up, because
maybe a couple years from now.
Yeah, maybe in the future we'll do like a full-length podcast.
But the way they address the issues of family and community and caring for others and moving forward in life and the difficult things, like I think that this film is just going to resonate with so many people that watch it, because we're talking about things that happen to probably about everyone. And it's not going to be a universal experience, but a lot of people could go into this film and be like, wow, this really applies to this period in my life, or maybe this period that I'm going through right now. And maybe it's a smaller release now, but I could totally see it being one that people hang on to, or
I feel like it's going to get bigger.
Sure.
I'm hoping that it somehow makes it to the Oscars, because it deserves an Oscar.
Aww. But oh my goodness, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 10 minutes in before I started crying, and I laughed too. It's a tiny slice of life, of all the silly things, the frustrating things, the heartbreaking things, the little triumphs, enjoying the very simple things in life, and seeing the significance in them. And they have a quote from, they incorporated quotes from the short, or shorts in there, and I really like that one, and how they wove it into the movie of, I smile a lot because it's worth it. Like, oh my goodness. So, if you're already in a feelingsy place, or maybe if you need to get some feelings out, yeah, this one can take you for a gentle ride. And bring more Kleenex than you think you'll need.
Even if you think you'll need 0, bring at least 1. Just in case.
If you cry multiple times a year, bring at least half a dozen. If you cry every 5 to 10 years, bring 1. If you don't cry at all, how are you doing that? Your brain has been cauterized or something. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Well, actually, I'm not sorry, because if you don't cry, that probably won't hurt you. Anyway. Anyway. So, thanks again to Dean. Oh my goodness. This was something. I still don't plan to go to the movies regularly. It's a lot of stimulation, and but this one I think was meant to be today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was worth it.
Now go out and live your lives, people, and love people, and meet people, and invite friends over for salad.
Yeah, I guess I don't have too much more to add, because I knew you probably would feel about the same way I did, and I don't want to give too much away, because there's a lot you could talk about. But yeah, it was so good. It was like emotionally beautiful.
My goodness. Well, this has been an adventure. Time to go have some more adventure.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go try, Lord willing, a Persian place that we've never been to, but have thought about going to.
Yes.
So, the ice cream was delightful, as usual. Got our oddball flavors, and
including a basil one that was really weirdly good.
Yep, basil white chocolate. You got blueberry elderflower. We both got like a cherry crisp or cobbler one. I got one that was coconut macadamia, maybe white chocolate, delicious.
I got one that was turtle sundae as well.
I got a vegan Christmas in July that's like chocolate sorbet with mint and cookies, and yeah, wonderful. So yeah, now on for Persian food. Khuda Hafiz.
Okay, well, if you have Marcel the Shell near you in a theater,
or far away,
that's true. That's true. We drove over an hour for this. Go see it. This is my highest recommendation. I doubt I will have a movie that surpasses this one as my favorite of the year. I can't see any movie getting better than this one.
That's very touching.
It was so good. So good.
All right. Until the next thing.
Okay. Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of I Heart Animation. If you like what you've heard, make sure to subscribe on your preferred podcast platform or to the I Heart Movies YouTube channel. Make sure to follow my co-hosts as well. Any relevant links will be in the description for easy access. We'll be back soon with another brand new episode, so thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.